Hello, and welcome to another edition of Decoding the Mysteries of Divine Knowledge. This indicator is part 1 of 109, which would be from numbers 1 through 54, and parts 55 through 109 will be in the second part. Um, this one, this one was a doozy, and it was extra long, but there's a lot of information in this one, especially the second part. I don't think you're going to believe who's in this book. That's all I can say about that right now. So, today we'll be focusing on the anti-universe being a type of map of starfield energies that show the functions and destruction of three-dimensional universe that is located in Mecca or the Black Cube. Now, in previous episodes, we discussed how our universe has a pyramid of light, which is between universes of intelligence, as the center means for the evolution of stars. Also, there is a matrix within the anti-universe of dark cubic space, which is in violation of the living light that is shown in the Kaaba, the black cube in Mecca. Enoch's ninth indicator is about the salvation and destruction of star universes. These universes are trapped in a cubic function of darkness by its star energies. If you notice, everything in a cube, everything should be free-flowing. Everything in nature is always curved. They've instilled all this block box architecture onto us. When King Faisal in 1973 went to Mecca, where 2 million people chanted, "Liberate Jerusalem." There was an article out of the Beirut, Lebanon, out of Beirut, Lebanon, that he had to go through a protocol to approach the black stone. He washed his hands, put on seamless garments, and approached the Kaaba, the black stone. This is the stone that was said to be the white stone that Adam brought from Eden, and it, by all of the corruptible sins of man, it turned black. Now, in the Kaaba, there are certain geometries of the anti-power of life, the anti-Zohar and the anti-Christos. Even the very language that the scholars and leaders of Islam, when they prepared to liberate Jerusalem, that is known as the place for the coming quote-unquote pyramid capstone of light, while they all gathered at the Kaaba to bow to the black stone. In this indicator, we will see the positive and anti-universes come together through light mathematics. The positive, the positive universe is through Pleiades and Orion and Jerusalem, and the anti-universe through the Alpha Draconis, Omega Draconis, and Mecca. Now remember, Jerusalem, there's a New Jerusalem. That's why the USA is capitalized in New Jerusalem. Now, on one side, the nations are engaged in physical destruction, war, entropy, and violence, while they're being bound down to the negation of star energy. And on the other side, the nations of love and light exposing the pyramid of light, which is a signal for continuity in the image and similitude of the higher luminaries. Now, I think we're seeing it right now with all the nations and how much war and everything like that's going on. It's very tiring, to say the least. Now, Enoch took him to the Middle East, where Enoch described the Kaaba, the black cube, as a macro-state crystalline structure that is sensitive to the particles of star limitation and nuclear tracings. The Kaaba shows, without the power of the Father and without the light of the Father, any star universe will go through its collapse. The Sons of Light established a light pyramid on this end of the light spectrum that functions with Pleiades and Orion, while the black cube functions with Alpha Draconis for the children of darkness. All of the antimatter that passes through our planetary system of creation is symbolic of the black cube, which shows dying star properties and the alpha and omega tracings of subatomic decay. The Torah Or, which is God's program of light, needs to be brought to the ones that are under the energies of the black cube in order to save the star system intelligence from negative entropy. From Orion and Pleiades, the scriptures of light shall be taught to the people of the world, the love of God, the love of the Son, and the love of the Holy Spirit. With the power of God's program, the anti-universe could beat the inversion of Enoch's ninth indicator, which is Samer Woof Samer, which is 666. Samer Wu Samer is the negation of the 6 force fields that are physical of material creation on all 3 levels of quasi-stellar creation. Through the stellar program of the 999, which is the threefold of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit universes that operate through and together in all 9 time cells of material creation, are able to negate the 666 by having us understand how the fallen universes are delivered through the galactic wars between the sons of light and the sons of darkness. So this war that's going on around us, this silent war, it's a lot bigger than we realize. Like way bigger. Like way bigger. Now, we learn about evolutionary star time in both terms of our physical dimension that's measured by cubic space and the destruction of third-dimensional universes. This indicator turns us to human astrophysics, which refers to the black cube, the Kaaba in Mecca, that shows metaparticles unless the star universes have a greater star power of regenesis. They are to be destroyed once they pass through the third dimension main sequence phase. Dark space exists when star evolution is no longer possible unless there is an intervention that is controlled. This is the degenerate phase in star evolution. Well, let's see. Degenerate? I mean, we're going through this right now. I mean, this is the end. This is the complete end of a massive cycle. And I think that's why they say that, we won't believe, what's actually happening here. Getting us primed up. Now, antimatter can be annihilated when 2 galaxies collide, when the electrons and positrons are accelerated to the total of about 10 to the 44th power ergs per second in radiant energy. Now, ergs, that's a method of like joules, right? So a joule is work required to produce 1 watt of power for 1 second. Now, it says that it is 10 to the 44th power per second in radiant energy. Now, this number is it. I don't even know if there's even a way to actually just calculate this. I mean, it's that massive. But I thought it was pretty funny when they mentioned radiant energy, because the symbol for radiant energy is a Q with a subscript E. So it's like a little like the little it's a big Q with a little E. Now, this is where some of this I can relate to, but some of it I just can't. But we'll go through it, and if you know me, you'll know what I mean. Now, in Sanskrit text, in the Mahabharata, holds one of the highest truths that shows eternal time and the transition of matter as the measure of eternal night. Time is linked to an eternal ocean of silence that once interacted with the microparticles of crystal in our universe. From all the secondary cycles of time that start with the beginning of the creation cycles, and also including every other cycle that determines the existence of our universe. So they have like an eternal night, but we enjoy the light. That's the big thing. We're light beings. We're not ones that parade around in the dark. The Maharati stands upon the corpse of the ruined evolving universe that is beyond any third-dimensional physical plane. Now, we have ruined our life station. I mean, we've pretty much done some pretty bad damage to it. So, because this evolving ruined universe contains body material of everything, even beyond form and beyond the body definition, it's also beyond the 3D, the third dimension definition of life, and a corpse on the living function of light where man considers was the beginning. All matter is in constant explosions. So when we thought the beginning, but it was like the beginning of of pretty much the end of the third massive cycle. Now the second phase is a Krodha Rati, Krodhatratri, which is the waste of the boundless, all-devouring time. Now, in this evolution, time appears as a source of light and a combustion. In the night of time, which remains in a state of universal dissolution, light being the first combustion appears as a star beginning. Now, as we see, like in the night of time, as you can see, we're pretty much in the darkest of days. So, where there is once darkness, there will be light. Now, this light is a source of all thought, since thought is in fact an energy, a combustion of star evolution, along with knowledge being the instrument that lights the object of star evolution. In the night of eternity, and that's the night of time model, we see life-giving plasma spiraling in many directions. Once the plasma comes together and hits an energy field, that creates its shape and structure, which happens to be like Boltzmann's law in the physics of man, that in the spirals of turbulent plasma begin to form from the gaseous particles, clouds in space. It's like those two pillars of creation that they show. I'm sure some have seen it, but they're like these massive two pillars of just this gaseous particles. It's like the beginning of everything. Now, humans recognize star evolution as when the galaxies and anti-galaxies in the third dimension take on, which is the spiraling of form that is in cubic space necessary to have a blue-white star field and a three-dimensional model to materialize. So when we start seeing the galaxies and anti-galaxies in the third dimension, and they're all spiraling out of control, I mean, it's like good versus evil, galaxy, anti-galaxy. It's like it's all happening right in front of our face and we don't even realize it. Now, in the third night of evolution, which is called the Divya Ratri, Divya dash Ratri. Now, all of them have the Ratri, Ratri in it. And it's the formation of a solo sun system, a singular sun system that moves within the material, within the material energy field to become the circular cubic matrix, which is the main form in the turbulent magnetic fields. So it's almost as if, it's the formation of a solar sun, of singular sun system like ours within this energy field to become a circular cube matrix. Well, I think we all see that they all worship the cube. I mean, all the baddies do. So even even the black cube in this, in the Kaaba. Now, as it spirals out of the energy field, we learn that by gravitational collapse, stars condense out of the galactic cloud. So we'll go through gravitational collapse, actually do this one. So at the stage of star evolution, due to radiation pressure, the separation of matter and antimatter occurs. So the radiation, it pretty much helps, it aids in the splitting of good versus evil, matter, antimatter. Now, at a point in time of star evolution, the star has condensed enough to produce enough heat for nuclear fusion to occur, no matter if the star is in matter phase or the antimatter phase. So it could go boom. Pretty much what it's going to do. It's going to go nova, supernova. So inside the star field, hydrogen and helium are produced until they interact to become iron. Some of these stars become supernovas that explode and scatter the elements throughout the galaxy, universe, or throughout whatever dimension the star is as an energy focus. I talk a lot about dimensions coming up. There are other stars that evolve as a conical projection within a 3D cubic form that leaves quickly due to radiation pressure. So, due to the radiation pressure, if it comes in conical and all that, like cubic, it'll spin it right out because it, it just the heat. So, if they evolve like a conical projection in a 3D cubic form, it's gonna spin right out. Now, in Eastern science, it teaches that the energy field that's beyond a 3D cubic form is a night of realization, referred as the higher knowledge and about Enoch and what Enoch refers to as the fourth dimension. Now, the fourth stage of evolution is a Siddha Rati, Siddhatri, when the universe opens up greater flow of energy, which is a greater offering of creation. So it's pretty much like the whole universe is going to open up and it's just going to spread all this just massive amounts of energy. Now, this is when interstellar gas is drawn to other stars, and when the energy field connects with it, this creates the mass forming of whirling currents and gas like like clouds and everything and that condense around the whole given sun system. So pretty much that's why you see everything spinning. So once the energy field hits it, it just naturally all goes in a conical system. There is enough interstellar gas in most cases to generate enough heat to create a star and aren't sufficient to go through gravitational collapse, but they are able to form planetary systems that revolve around a parent star. Now, within the fourth dimensional construct, we learn how the parent star emits instructional codes that planetary satellites feed off of. And the code of ionization is the necessary framework to materialize thought generation that's instantly being pulsated through this energy network. It's instantly and constantly. So it just keeps on going. So all these codes command action, correct? All these they're just firing all these codes in, and we don't even realize it. Now, every kingdom of intelligence of chemical matter, along with its respective star or parent star, under its phase of star evolution, they pass into the Virarati, or the night of courage. That's when it spirals through itself. So it's the VIRA-RATRI. Now, in this fifth stage of evolution, the sun pours into the world, and in order for the sun to continue its evolution, the sun takes the essence of the world. So technically, it's an energy exchange for the sun as well, because the sun gives us light, and we in turn give it its essence, our essence of the world. Now, in Eastern texts, solar radiation is compared with the perpetual beheading of the sun, which represents the life-giving and life-destroying power of the sun. Now, the world depends on solar radiation for its sustenance on burning and destructive light. Now, the Lord tells us, referring to this evolution, that, in quotes, her left foot forward in battle, she holds her severed head with a knife. Naked she drinks at the stream of the blood nectar flowing from her beloved body. End of quote. Pretty dark there. Above, we see the necessity of a given planetary mind system, or a kingdom of intelligence, to separate from its sun system before the sun system destroys that planetary creation or the planetary field of intelligence. Enoch also said the stars aren't the only source of elements beyond atomic structure. That's very interesting. I would love to know more about that. Now, chemical and physical reactions are produced from cosmic ray bombardment and stellar radiations. These radiations can affect members of a planetary system by generating complex organic molecules from simple inorganic substances that create a huge variety of intelligences. This radiation is necessary for the process of photosynthesis, from which all higher forms of physical life derive their energy. If only scientists knew that. And I'm sure they do, but that's why they want to make everything carbon friendly and all that. Carbon free. Now, it is at this point in evolution where life intelligence must decide if it has the ability to go through cubic life space, to become identified with an intelligence of a higher evolutionary star seed in a star system that neighbors us, and join in co-participation as a new member of a galactic family. So we have to choose whether we want to stay or if we want to go. So that the choice is on you. Now, if this happens, it proceeds from its parent star to a secondary star and into a galactic creation of many forms with many suns. If it doesn't mutate into multi-dimensional stars directions, it is destroyed. Now I'm talking about the whole, pretty much our living system. Now, in the Chinese text, they recognize the Lords of Light govern from double stars as well as from multiple star systems. Let's see. In the lower heavens, their intelligence is bound to its immediate parameters of its sun system, which will be destroyed through the evolving spiraling black cube, which is the cubic space where star energy eats up its own byproducts, its own physical creation, and its own creative intelligence. They eat their own. Scary thought, isn't it? The power of the Zohar of the higher evolution, or the Poha, Phowa, which is the consciousness threshold energy that's stronger than the sun's energy, is required to go into the destructive or negative evolutions to redeem or reprogram these evolutions. Now, it's pretty much like in order to reprogram these or redeem these evolutions, they have to use an energy even stronger than the sun's energy to actually go into these evolutions and actually fix them and repair them. Okay, it seems like they tapped out everything here, huh? Now, the higher light serves as a new channel whereby a species transmutation can take place. Thus, the species can be taken from its planetary disk and go into other star fields before the sun system destroys its chemical order of life intelligence. The planetary disk. This takes us to the sixth field of evolution, known as the Kala Rati, an Indian text along with the Tibetan counterpart, which is the sudden end of a world system, which is a process that's been going on for a long time. This one's going to get real interesting. That's all I got to say. At the first moment of existence, destruction begins. Begins at a point where all the cycles are brought together to give a picture of 1,000 newly risen suns, the death of lower sun creations, and birth of multiple sun creations. Now, when I first read this, I was like, 1,000 newly risen suns. Kind of sounds like the whole 1,000 points of light garbage, doesn't it? The words of the Lords who show us this, saying this, in quotes, softly smiling, you shine with a crimson glow, which may be compared with 1,000 newly risen suns. You wear a silken veil and a garland of skulls. Now, the skulls of garland illustrates Golgotha, which is the destruction of the spiritual sun energy, the Jesus, with the energy of the Christos, the Son of Light, or the Zohar energy, which descends on the planetary mind as a new membrane of evolution is upon the skull of the planet. So now when we talk about the skull of the planet, oh, a skull is like a dome, right? The higher evolutionary threshold of intelligence, while working with the astrochemical sun of Earth, at the end of time, comes together for the necessary programming and resurrection beyond time-space of the immediate zone of life and death, which is the Kaaba and Golgotha. So the K and the G, 11-7. So that wraps up to 54. Now, 55 is coming right after this. And like I said, there are certain parts of it that, I'm all about, but there's certain parts that you lost me some. But we're going to go through the book as it's written and, you know, keep, my thoughts of everything at a minimum because it's all about the book at this point. So thank you so much and have a good day.